What up? What up? Prince Sports here, man, coming at you with another one and a great night of boxing. Y'all see the luggage in the background. Y'all know it's almost travel time, man. But it's not what I'm talking about today. Today I want to talk about Teofimo Lopez versus the underdog from the land down under, Mr. George. Listen, in boxing, win, lose, or draw, it's not always about winning. Boxing is not one of those type of sports, win or go home. They don't have that mentality. Boxing is more of a warrior versus warrior combats type of sport. So winning and losing doesn't necessarily hurt or break your legacy. And if anything, sometimes it increases it. All right, and who you go up against matters. All right. So with that being said, Teofimo Lopez still suffered a very timely upset. And this upset, I think, was all to his updoing. He was too cocky, too full of himself, talked a little bit more than actually backed it up with boxing. And that's what happens when you're not fully concentrated. The guy tried to knock the guy out quick. He promised everybody that he was going to knock this guy out really quick. So he bit off more than he could chew because you're in there against a guy that was going round for round with you, okay? And this is a guy who said he sparred with Manny Pacquiao for 23 rounds, all right? So he's used to going up against welterweights. So Teofimo Lopez, man, sometimes you're going to have to check and test that temperature of your opponent's heart because that's what it comes down in boxing. And George had it. He had the heart, the determination to win and wanting to win. He said he wasn't going to leave New York without that belt, and he kept his word. So here's the funny part about this, though. Teofimo Lopez was heavily favored to win this fight, right? He's a guy that was potentially going to move up to be a welterweight and fight all the top welterweights sooner or later. Now he's going to have to clean up this mess. He even got involved into this fight and said, I won the fight. Now, me personally, this is when judging and boxing goes wrong a little bit. I still think this fight could have been a draw. Listen, hear me out a little bit. Just because George won the last 2 rounds don't mean he won the fight. Because Teofimo won the first 2 rounds prior to that. But now I know, you should know, that judges, especially in boxing, I've been watching boxing for a long time, and it's more relevant now more than ever that the last 2 rounds of a boxing fight is what the judges see the most. So they go by, what have you done for me lately? You can knock a guy down 4 or 5 times in the fight, and if he fights to the end and beats wins the last 2 rounds in a dominant fashion, make you get bloodied up a little bit, you may lose that fight. So that should be a lesson to Teofimo. You got to be in there. You got to go for the kill if you want it to win, really. Because you had the guy on the ropes, I believe in the 10th round. He was done. You stop boxing the guy. You stop hitting him. He stood there and recoup, and you let him recoup when you had the chance to knock him out. You cost yourself this fight to a certain extent because you had all the opportunities to win. Now, with that being said, you can't take away nothing from Mr. Adrian. He had his Rocky moment, okay? That was a true Rocky moment. Underdog. Apollo Creed loses to the guy from Philadelphia. In this case, the kid from Brooklyn loses to the guy from Australia. Yo, Brooklyn really suffered a lot today. They lost the basketball game to the Phoenix Suns, and one of their own hometown, Mr. Brooklyn himself, Teofimo Lopez, loses. Brooklyn took a lot of L's, but I guarantee you this much. Here's a little dig at Brooklyn. If the Brooklyn Nets was in Queens, you would have won. If the Teofimo was from Queens, he probably would have won. That's what you get. You was a little too cocky. Brooklyn was a little too cocky tonight, and it came back to haunt you guys in a big time, in a big way. All kidding aside. But I like to see a rematch, and maybe they should make a rule in boxing. You could, if it's 12 rounds, let them go one more extra round. Like it'd be like a sudden death type of thing. Whoever wins that one round just wins the whole fight. Especially if the fight was too close. One round for all the marbles. This way we would have a fight and we could sit there and say, this guy won convincingly. Press Sports out. Peace.